a second. Let me get this adjusted. Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. I had it all set up. What's going on here somehow? There we go. Oh, I reached up like I was going to. Hold on a second. I got to move this because I can't see the chat when it pops up on my screen. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay. All right. There we go. There we go. Hello, everybody. Hey, thank you for clicking on. Hit that like thing down there, if you would, please. It does help with more people seeing the channel. Dangerous times, and we are in them. Lori Arnold, the rainbow unicorn, almost had the middle finger in there. All right. Hey, got a lot of stuff tonight. All right. I really wasn't going to go on tonight, but there's so much stuff. We're going to talk about a nuclear meltdown, what that actually means. We're going to flash back to the United States' problem, 3 Mile Island. A lot of people may not even be aware of that. Talk a little bit about a movie called The China Syndrome, and we're going to talk about what's going on in Eastern Europe. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about USGS magnetic field reversal. We're going to talk about one of my favorite human beings, former President Jimmy Carter. And of course, we're going to get to the bookmarks, and we are going to get to breaking news according to, there we go, breaking news according to mainstream media. Hold on. Let me do this. There we go. It's pretty close. Breaking news according to mainstream media. And we are going to start out with, okay, I don't want that. Okay, I don't want that either. We're going to start out with this from the Cucuzanyica, the familia Cucuzanyica. I got to brush up on my Swahili. The familia Cucuzanyica community put out another message last night. They're having a Zoom meeting with John F. Johnson, aka Grandmaster Jay, and that's how we're going to start things tonight. Because obviously I've been brushing up on my Swahili, and you'll see why as this unfolds. And he also has a message for Defender of Ants at the end.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Listen up. We got some major news dropping real soon, and it's going to blow your mind. We're coming at you with a video, dropping in a hot minute to give you all the juicy deets about our Familia Cucuzanyica community and what's going down next. And guess what? We got some exclusive updates just for our people in the private group. Hold up, people, because we got something extra special lined up. We're bringing you a free software download just for our peeps in the private group. This software is going to hook you up big time when it comes to choosing your dream home design. It's got all the options you need, from appliances to colors and trims, and picking your floor plan too. It's a game changer, fam, because it's going to help you personalize your crib like never before. We got some serious news for y'all. Yours truly, John F. Johnson, is about to make an epic entrance on a Zoom call just to give you a massive shout out. We ain't stopping there though. We're keeping this exclusive Zoom sesh locked down tight, and the link to join will only be posted in our private member area. Stay sharp, fam, because this event is going to be straight up fire. We excited about the progress we're making as a community, and we can't wait to spill all the tea. Stay locked in our private group for all the latest updates and get ready to ride this insane journey with us. I heard y'all been wondering about the origins of our community's name, Familia Kukusanyika. Let me break it down for you. It's straight Swahili. Yeah, that's what said Swahili. And yeah, Barry, I peeped you struggling trying to spit that out too, my man.
I'm trying.
It took me a minute to master saying it like a pro, but now I got it on lock. Heads up, Kukusanyika community, about to dip into the underground, fam. The YouTube game ain't for the NFAC no mo. That's why we created our own private online community, keeping them bottom feeders at bay. Them fake ass channels out there on YouTube keep coming at us with their lies and propaganda, but we stay focused on doing real shit. Yo, quick message to all y'all. It's July and I'm still locked up. Why you out here telling people I was gonna be free in June? You ain't part of this and you never will be, so step off. Side note, quick message to that hefty homie chilling in his broke down van. Don't be spitting none of that NFAC nonsense, spreading lies about our crew and what them crazy white folks pulled off in January. Keep that talk out of your mouth, straight up. No need for that fake info, you feel me? Keep it real, y'all.
There you go. That was from Familia Kukusanyika. Familia Kukusanyika community. So there you go. If there are any questions about what's happening as far as NFAC, it's about community, not about militia, and it's certainly not about starting a race war. So get all those ideas out of your heads, please, and let's move forward. And we do so by going to breaking news. Hey, Cunning Stunt. Hey, Sassy. Hey, P.I. Rose. Hey, Just Joan. I think Granny Sue's out there. Hello to everybody. I've got a setup where I can't see the chat at the moment except when it pops up. Hey, Sassy Pants. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for watching, no matter where you're at, and whether you're watching live or at your discretion. I do thank you for clicking on. Headlines, New York Times headline, one black family, one affirmative action ruling, and lots of thoughts. That's a pretty good read, but it does cost you. NBC Chicago officials have reversed the flow of the river into Lake Michigan to ease flooding. CNN, 2 people were killed, 28 wounded in a mass shooting at a Baltimore block party. It used to be that these things were so rare that when one would happen, it would be the focus of all the news for 3 or 4 days. We would know the shooter's name. We would know where they went to school, what they had for breakfast. Now it is just 2 people were killed, 28 wounded in a mass shooting at a Baltimore block party because there are just too many of these shootings. And in order to get your name remembered, you gotta do something massive. And that's such a dangerous time. But that's where we're at. Hello to Mike. Hello to Sassy Pants. I think was it George Jefferson that waved there during that? I just caught a small glimpse. I hope I didn't mess up the name. But hello to all of you again. Thank you for being here. We continue. This from ABC News. A grandmother of a French teen shot dead by police officers pleads with rioters to stop. We're going to talk a little bit more coming up with the rioters in not only in France. Now, this isn't getting reported a lot here in the United States, but the riots have spread to Belgium and also to Switzerland. Things are so bad. The Prime Minister of Poland put out a message showing the violence in France and Belgium and saying that that's not what we want here in Poland, and it's certainly not what we want here in the United States. The Axis headline is DeSantis has been slammed by Buttigieg. He's been slammed by the Republican 2024 rivals, and he's been slammed by the GOP. So and deservedly so. We're going to show you why coming up. One of the most disgusting, if not the most disgusting ad I've ever seen. For sure, the most disgusting political ad I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of them. And without a doubt, the most disgusting presidential ad I've ever seen. Our final headline comes from the New York Times once again. This time it is a large crack spotted in a roller coaster, and the roller coaster is shut down. CNN had a really good video of the roller coaster and the big crack in it, and I went to CNN to find it, and I couldn't, but I have found it on my local Fox 59 channel. You can't see it quite as good, but you can still see it. The crack is right here where the cursor is right at the moment. And you can see the top of the coaster bop out whenever the car comes by. So, one of those little, just something to think about next time you go to the amusement park. Make sure it's a solid amusement park with a reputable history, and the rides are checked often. Let me get rid of this because they put a bunch of stuff up here. And again, this you can find everything at BLKIN Media, Blacken Media, as far as if you're wanting to keep track of what's happening there. I mentioned I had come to CNN to try to find the roller coaster video, and I found this headline instead. Republicans' 2024 ideas include raising the voting age and also raising retirement age. So that's what Republicans are planning on running on in 2024 for all of you that are considering voting for any one of these fine Republican candidates. Also on the list are ending birthright citizenship. That means if you're born in America, you're not automatically a citizen, and a mental competency test for any candidate over 75. Now that part, hey, 1 out of 12, I agree with. There should be a mental competency. There should be a mental competency test for anybody running for Congress or Senate or any kind of government office that has any potential influence over the people. That's just my personal opinion. All right, so that wraps up our breaking news, and that takes us to our Twitter scroll for the night. Florida law enforcement thinks DeSantis' new permitless carry rule is dangerous and stupid. That comes from the Central Florida Sheriff's sound off on permitless carry laws. So, raise the age. What about the age for military? Used to be a Republican. No matter what I have to do, I'm not going to let Trump win. I'll vote for Biden. Hey, Guy, thank you for being here. Again, Cunning Stunt. We're going to have a panel tomorrow night starting at 9 o'clock. Not going to have, that's another reason I'm on here tonight, getting all this news done with, so that tomorrow night it's just going to be a couple of minutes of news, and then we are going to have a panel, and it's going to be a good panel. I already know some of the people are going to be on it. Got a couple of spots left. If you'd like to be part of the panel, email me, americandoofus@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can possibly get you on. No guarantees. So we continue on with the bookmarks. A little bit of humor here. This is Elon Musk fixing Twitter is the caption of this particular little video. And you'll see once again, he does a great job of repairing, except for one small detail. And that is, for those that don't know, Um, Twitter users' hair was on fire yesterday. Twitter came out, Elon Musk came out and said, hey, you know, you're going to be limited in the number of posts you can read. Um, and everybody was just like, oh my gosh, what, you know, what are we talking about here? And it was 6,000 if you're a blue check, 600 if you're non, and 300 if you're new, if you just created a new account. Um, that sounded like an awful lot of posts to read to me, so I was okay with it. But actually, when you get to it and you start going through, you can eat up those numbers fairly quickly. But nonetheless, go outside, touch some grass tomorrow at some point. Take a walk, even if if you got a dog, walk your dog. If not, take a walk or do something. Get outside. Not too long though, because we got radiation from the sun and the weakening magnetic field. I want to show this. This is from Don Wilson, and Don claims, he says, "Dear MAGA and Trump 2024, watch me take apart your cult leader and his lifetime of lies like a Lego set in 4 minutes." So that sounds pretty braggadocious to me, but let's see if he does it.
Are you a loser? Certain way, yeah. Hate to say it.
A con man always needs a mark. How long have you been Donald Trump's mark? Donald Trump is a lie. Donald Trump is an infomercial.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, folks. I'm Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is a 5-decade-long marketing campaign. Trump sold himself as a self-made man. But the truth is that his father gave him millions and millions and millions of dollars to start and sustain his business.
He started his business with $14 million borrowed from his father.
Trump sold himself as a great businessman.
At Trump University, we teach success.
But the truth is, great businessmen have not filed for bankruptcy 6 separate times. Trump sold himself to Republican voters as pro-life, but the truth is that he was pro-choice his entire life and only changed his position to dupe Republican voters into voting for him.
I'm very pro-choice. I just believe in choice.
Trump claimed to be a devout Christian, but the truth is that he could not even name a single Bible verse when asked repeatedly.
You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book.
I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
Trump sold himself as being supported by a major Christian leader, Jerry Falwell Jr. But the truth is, the major Christian leader was engaged in a 3-way love affair with his wife and the pool boy and resigned in disgrace. Trump sold himself as a tough guy, but the truth is that he had his rich daddy get him 5 deferments so he never had to fight in the Vietnam War.
I had a foot thing, and I had deferment for that.
Donald Trump hugs the flag and likes to attack China. But the truth is, his entire clothing line was made in China.
Eyes rated to China.
Trump sold himself as a ladies' man.
Women respect me. They like me. I grab them by the...
But the truth is that more than 27 women have accused him of sexual assault or rape.
That he was putting his hand up my
He
skirt.
did touch my vagina through my
He
underwear.
began thrusting his genitals.
Trump sold himself as a great politician. But the truth is, while president, he lost the Senate, the House, and the White House.
But now the Trump presidency is coming to an end.
Trump sold himself as pro-cop, but the truth is he has praised and even promised to pardon insurrectionists that savagely beat police officers on January 6th.
And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons.
Trump sold himself as pro-military, but the truth is that he savagely attacked decorated American soldiers, POWs, and Gold Star families.
He's a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured.
Do you remember when he said Mexico would pay for the wall?
And I will have Mexico pay for that wall.
Do you remember when he promised you health care?
We're going to have a health care plan that's going to be second to none.
Do you remember when he promised you an infrastructure plan?
It is also time to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure.
During the 4 years of his presidency, Donald Trump made more than 30,000 false or misleading claims. 30,000. How many times does this used car salesman have to lie to you before you stop supporting him?
See, these trade deals, we were losing a fortune. Hundreds.
Stop and listen to the salesman language he always uses to manipulate you.
I guarantee you, 100%.
Donald Trump is a lie. Stop listening to his lies. Stop supporting this liar.
Are you a loser? Certain way, yeah. Hate to say it.
Follow Don Winslow. We do not accept donations, but would appreciate your retweet.
Okay, well, better than a retweet. I gave you a whole view to however many are watching this. So there you go. He might have done it. He said he's going to take him apart in 4 minutes. Okay, I got to pause here for just a second. I just got a tweet from somebody. The White House is on lockdown. This is like breaking news. The White House is on lockdown after the report of a shooting nearby. And as of right this moment, it remains on lockdown. So, White House on lockdown, and it's due to a shooting nearby, not anything on the White House grounds itself. All right, back to the show. Back to the script, I should say. This was a request to redo. I played this the other night, and somebody asked me to bring this back up, show it again, so that more people might get a chance to see this. What this is, what I'm going to read to you, it comes from, it's posted by Brian Johnson on Twitter. It comes from Ed Harris, and Ed is a former research associate of NASA. And he was part of a program that basically briefed presidents of the United States as far as what was really going on with the alien activities. Now, I'm going to preface what I'm about to read with a couple of things. For those that don't know, I am a retired United Methodist minister, and I retired early. For those of you that don't know, I was I ran for office in one of the two main political parties, and I got to I got to meet and campaign with Jimmy Carter. I got to meet and campaign with John Glenn. Anyway, this is about Jimmy Carter. Jimmy's 98 years old now. He was the president from 1977 to 1981. He was with 5 other people or 6 other people, and saw an unidentified flying object. No doubt in any of their minds that it was, with the maneuvering, it was a UFO. Not only was he president, he was a state senator, he was governor, and he served in the United States Navy. He was a very spiritual man, a very staunch Christian man, followed the Christian tenets of love and peace and taking care of your neighbor and do no harm. And he went on to be maybe more famous for his work with Habitat for Humanity. and it was always about humanity. He was promoted as born again. That's true, Max Flower. He was. And he considered himself born again until he became president and was given this brief. And now I'll read you what this says. Again, this comes from Ed Harris. This is alleged. And I told you what I told you as far as my relationship in politics and my relationship in being a former minister. I'm not reading this to make anybody quit believing in God or anything like that. I'm reading this because here before long, we're going to learn that aliens have been here for a long time. Probably took more notice of us after the first nuclear test. So the those explosions probably had a little bit to do with how much more attention we've gotten in the past 80 years since Roswell. Here's what Ed Harris says in regards to Jimmy Carter. Yes, the incident of Jimmy Carter crying after being briefed about classified information regarding UFOs is largely believed to be true by the serious researchers on the subject. As a forewarning, the following information is very unsettling and will explain why Carter never, quote, kept his promise, end quote, of revealing classified UFO information to the public, something that he did mention many times during his campaign. According to the story that was corroborated by more than one witness, U.S. presidents are only given a cursory overview of the subject. Apparently, the CIA runs the program, only provide information to the president on a need-to-know basis, and do not consider presidential curiosity as sufficient need to know. Coming up on July 4th, this sounds a little bit like Independence Day. This was implemented after Kennedy and all presidents after him. This was implemented after Kennedy and all presidents after him have been given only summary briefings. Some presidents, for unknown reasons, were given more than others. Unofficially, the first president to meet with alien life forms was Harry Truman, and coincidentally, or however you want to phrase it, Truman was the one that dropped the bomb. So there's that. Okay, on to your question. President Carter is a deeply religious man who had also witnessed a UFO. Okay, it was 6 other people. Everyone thought that he would be the one to finally release UFO info to the public. But as the story goes, he was repeatedly stonewalled. Eventually, the CIA had, quote, the talk, end quote, with him. And afterward, it was reported that he sunk his head in his hands and not only began to deeply sob, but was visibly disturbed for some weeks afterward. What was he told? He was told that the major religions, including Christianity, were programs created by extraterrestrials to prevent us from destroying ourselves while they ran their experiments on us, and that they made us. And at this moment, it became clear to Carter that such information could cause tremendous economic and social upheaval. I should add that I am not only a Christian, but a clergyman, so I am in no way attempting to promote atheism here. In fact, how God fits into this might be an interesting separate post. Nevertheless, These are the facts as I know them to be. Um, we are going to talk about that tomorrow night. The panel. We're going to talk about how does it impact us here on Earth if we do indeed find out that we find out that there are other species, there are other life forms. Or let me rephrase that. It's confirmed that there are other species and other life forms. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. Join us at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific. Armed rioters show off their arsenal of weapons in France. For those that have not heard, there is a I think this is the 5th day, if I'm not mistaken, the 5th day of rioting in France, and as I said, it has spread to Belgium and it has spread to Switzerland. There are concerns it's going to spread to other locations in Europe. It all started when a 17-year-old in France was killed by police during a traffic stop, and it has just continued to escalate and escalate, and now the rioters are armed. Of course, I didn't pull it all the way out. I spent too much time talking, setting it up. Let's do this again. Apologies. I'm my own producer. And sometimes I get it wrong. There we go. Here we go. All right, so it's escalating, and it has been escalating. I shouldn't say it's escalating. I should say it has been escalating. It continues to escalate. We'll continue to monitor it. I'll tell you what. If you do not follow Ed TV Now on Twitter and you're a Twitter user, follow Ed TV Now. I'm not going to play this.
Some shit like this.
Wait a minute. I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to say who's involved in all of this. You can read for yourselves. I want to pause it. There we go. Pause it somewhere where it's not totally offensive and say what I need to say here. The former president of the United States, Barack Obama, and his wife, Michelle, the former first lady, someone was allegedly casing their house. Someone was talking about the proper position to get the shot. All right. Now whether that was just misspeak or whatever, some are going to find out that this is not a game, and that your words, even online, matter. And what you may think is funny The government is not. And you may think you're a journalist interviewing somebody. Let me tell you with 100% certainty from experience, you're not viewed that way at all. You're somebody online or somebody with a phone. And you have no indemnities. Think about what you're doing, folks. All of us think about what we're doing. Things are getting hot, temperature-wise and environment-wise within our country. Everybody keep your cool. Everybody keep your hands off each other. Everybody mind our own business. And we might get through this. That's if all the other crap doesn't kill us. We'll talk about that tomorrow night too. This comes from Donald Trump Jr. While my father loves almost all of you, oh, while my father loves almost all his supporters, please do not come to Mar-a-Lago to support President Trump. We have many important people coming, and we need to keep it clean. We don't need you Fargan scourges coming anywhere near our club. All we need you for is your vote, okay? And if we need an insurrection. Otherwise, keep your distance and know your place. You're not one of us. That's what that sign says. And that's just my interpretation. But I think it might hold pretty close. Another look at some of the writing going on. Again, it's spread to France, or spread from France to Belgium, and tonight to Switzerland. This is Lausanne in Switzerland. Rioters clashing with riot police. Lindsey Graham was. Lindsey Graham was booed for, I believe, a total of 7 minutes and never even gave any semblance of anything close to a speech. Lindsey Graham is a co-person under investigation in Georgia for voter fraud and for trying to overturn an election.
Well, you want to find something common? All right, thank y'all. Thank you all very much. Welcome to Pickens County. A little bit about this county. Just calm down for a second. I think you'll like this. Pickens County has more Medal of Honor winners per capita than any place in the nation. I was born in this county. I live 15 miles down the road. This is a place where people.
Okay, that's just so you totally get the thing here. This is the county that Lindsey Graham was born in. This is the state that he's a senator from, and they are booing him and calling him a traitor. Don Jr., Don, telling the people that they aren't welcome is one thing, but
There's a serious crisis.
getting online in this shape, I don't know if I've ever seen. I'm sure there have been people that have been more messed up than this, but I don't think any of them have been sons of former presidents.
Joe Biden is.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do they have some kind of thing where they watch what we do? Because It seems like every time I get it all set up and I hit the perfect intro, it doesn't work. But just a moment ago, I played the entire Lindsey Graham thing for a minute and a half, and it never flipped on me.
Joe Biden is the guy they're going to call at 3 in the morning if there's a serious crisis
It's
with
aliens.
Russia.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Okay. All right. Yes, Joe Biden. Believe it or not, Joe Biden is the one they're going to call at 3 o'clock in the morning if there's a serious crisis with Russia, and not your dad. Now, I was asked. Let's see. What's it say here? No, I'd never think of retweeting this image of Trump that shows his massive bald spot, which he so desperately tries to hide. That would make Trump very sad. So whatever you do, please do not retweet this. And I didn't, John. This is from John Cooper. I took your advice. I didn't retweet it. I'm just showing it here. This guy took some time. He was watching Trump's event in Pickett, South Carolina, and he called it a Nuremberg rally. And then as a test, he put the end of Trump's speech and Hitler's speech from Nuremberg, 1935, together, and says, note, the music is coming from Trump's speech. It's mixed in, no other editing or additions except labels. And I've said for a while, this guy hadn't studied a lot, but I did think, sure appears like he studied Hitler. I caught hell for that, but I stand by it.
We are going to finish what we started. With you at my side, we will demolish.
Let's run this back so you can catch the subtitles.
The deep state. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists. We will throw off the slick and very sick political class that hates our country. And we will rout the fake news media. We will defeat crooked Joe Biden. And we will drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. once and for all. Like those great patriots before us, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield, we will never give in, we will never give up, we will never ever back down. Together we will complete the mission. We will cross the finish line. We will rescue freedom, liberty, and justice and propel that spirit of July 4th, 1776. We will win a righteous and magnificent victory on November 5th, 2024. The great silent majority is rising like never before. Nobody has ever seen this before, ever, ever, ever. These record crowds are massively before the election. Nothing like this has.
There you go. Gives you an idea. And you can watch the rest of it on Twitter. Whoop, I buzzed past him too fast there. Rest of it on Twitter. It's Jim Stewartson. He's actually an anti-disinformation activist with the United States and with Ukraine. All right. I mentioned in the headlines that DeSantis had been hammered by Pete Buttigieg, by all of his GOP rivals, and by the Republican Party itself. We're going to show you why. Have I got it pulled out? I do. All right.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBT
into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
In the future, can transgender women compete in Miss Universe?
Yes.
Make America great again.
Just for clarity, this is an advertisement put out by the DeSantis campaign.
I cannot think of anything more horrifying. It really has shut down drag. Just produced some of the harshest, most draconian laws that literally threaten trans existence.
Congratulations, Ron DeSantis. Mission accomplished. You win.
Okay. So there you go. Make of that what you want. That was DeSantis's speech. In political terms, that's called trying to run to the right of your opponent. He's trying to make Donald Trump look like he loves gay people, and running to the right means hating more than anybody else. There are a lot of Republican people that are okay with the LGBTQ community, and this to me is an incredible sign of desperation from a very vile person. That not only should Trump never be close to the White House, this clown shouldn't either. This I found really, really interesting. This is somebody commenting on a fellow right-winger who has just been put into custody for allegedly casing the property of former President Obama. I know there's been a whole lot said about that. Let's see what this guy says. Why would it do that? Why would it? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm talking to myself here, and I'm talking out loud. Why would it reboot like that and then turn the sound down?
This week, or for the past month, that had outstanding warrants for his arrest. And there he was on camera in front of dozens of police cars every night. And it turns out he had weapons in the car, he had ammunition, he was trespassing on property in Washington, D.C. And we got to know that these police are there for our safety. They are there for the safety of the people. And if there's a guy walking around with an open warrant for his arrest, it needs to be addressed. And we just proved it to everybody. We just showed everybody that the cops aren't doing their job down there.
That was one of the guy. Okay, just so everybody is clear, one of the people that was at the J6 corner is the guy that is being held for allegedly, at the minimum, casing the home of the president and former First Lady, the Obama family. Again, I forgot I had this up here twice. Lindsey Graham cuts it short, runs off stage to a chorus of boos after being booed and heckled nonstop by the crowd, being called a traitor. Johnny Troy and the Hayseeds, just a reminder, folks, coming up on the 1-year anniversary. And if you want to take a trip down memory lane, that's a good trip to take. Johnny Troy and the Hayseeds. Legendary. I'll just leave it at that. If you know, you know. Here's a look at the Trump rally in South Carolina today. or was it was yesterday? I guess it was. Not a lot of diversity. I'm just saying. Not a lot of diversity. Are there famous authors who never studied literature or writing in school? Yeah, probably. I'm going to say Arthur Ashe. What was the dude with the fish? Arthur Treacher. Oh gosh, there's got to be a lot of Art Bell. I wonder if Art Bell was an author. But there are authors who never studied literature or writing in school. Probably, as far as their majors, they probably had a writing course, but. Oh, okay. Trey Crowder. So that finally gets our bookmarks complete for the night. And we can buzz on through here in the next 10 minutes. Be close to an hour. Cool. That was the goal, was try to get everything done in about an hour. I've talked a lot on here about the magnetic field shifting and the potential for a reversal. The magnetic field, the two poles have been moving, which is called a migration. And the last migration was 12,000 years ago. So this is a rather unique event that is happening. There is theories, and there was just one dude that was saying, hey, the poles are going to flip. The poles have not flipped in 780,000 years. That's 780,000 years. That I didn't misspeak. So that has not happened in a really, really long time. 12,000 years, that's a pretty long time since the last migration, which we are definitely in. Now, this is 2 minutes and 26 seconds long, and disclaimer, this production is a work of speculative fiction, and it was broadcast 1998, February 22nd, 1998, United States Geological Services. This is what they would put out if there was indeed a magnetic reversal that there's speculation it could take a year. There's speculation it could take a decade. There's speculation that it could happen within a day. We don't know because it hadn't happened in 12,000 years and 780,000 actually since it actually flipped. So here's what that EAS would be like. And again, this is back in 1998.
On Tuesday, February 24th, 1998, Earth's magnetic poles are expected to reverse. Magnetic reversals have occurred throughout Earth's history. The last reversal occurred roughly 780,000 years ago. Typically, reversals take hundreds or thousands of years to occur. Recent research indicates at least one previous flip could have taken place over 1 year. However, the upcoming reversal has been calculated to occur over a period of 63 hours. During a magnetic reversal, the intensity of the magnetic field decreases by roughly 90%, exposing the surface of the planet to UV rays. Remaining outdoors for any length of time is likely to result in significant radiation exposure. Skin cancer may become as prevalent as the common cold. If you must go outdoors, cover as much of your skin as possible. Use gloves, hats, masks, and closed-toed shoes, regardless of the temperature. Navigation systems will be compromised indefinitely. Familiarize yourself with alternative means of navigation, such as landmarks, maps, and local directions. Communication systems, such as cellular and online networks, will be disrupted. Keep alternative means available. The loss of the magnetic field may result in crustal displacement, causing Earth's crust to become free-flowing above the mantle. This crustal displacement may cause catastrophic earthquakes and tsunamis as a result of tectonic activity. Remain wary of your location's seismic risk. In case of sudden fluctuations or surges in the power grid, consider unplugging sensitive electronic equipment to prevent damage. Please remain vigilant during this uniquely challenging time. For questions or concerns, please visit usgs.gov or consult your local authority.
Okay, so that's what the USGS put together. In the event there was a flip of the magnetic poles, and what you heard there was speculation of at what would occur, that radiation would increase. I think radiation is increasing now. I think that's why it feels hotter when you go outside than the temperature actually says, because there's more radiation. The other day when the tornadoes were coming through, it was 88 degrees, but we had a heat index of 106 with a 80 mile an hour wind blowing. You would think with wind blowing that the heat would decrease. Just something to think about. Not trying to freak anybody out, just trying to say that there are those that are watching stuff that the government's probably watching too, that the government's probably not going to tell us. So this is why I keep such a close eye on what's going on with the Earth's magnetic poles. Now, I want to say something real quick. There are magnetic poles, and then there are rotational poles. The actual North Pole and South Pole, the poles that the Earth rotate around, that's not what we're talking about that's moving. What we're talking about is the Earth magnetism, the positive and negative charges, the South Pole and the North Pole switching positions, and those magnetic and thus electronic and electric switching of currencies would mess everything up. For how long, that's speculative. But hopefully it doesn't happen. But at the moment, we're seeing something historic, something that's never happened in 12,000 years. That takes us to Ukraine. Here's Ukraine. Here's Kyiv. Here's Belarus. The Wagner Group is going to have their base right about here, about 100 kilometers from Kyiv. Here's Moscow. And here is Croatia. Oh, crap, I can't think the name of the island right now. Croatia. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Isn't that right? Let me look, make sure. Okay. This is Russia, and there's a bridge right here that joins the island with the motherland Russia. And this bridge, access to this bridge was cut off yesterday. The speculation is, here is Zaporizhzhia. This is where the Zaporizhzhia power plant is. And speculation is things were cut off here because if this does indeed blow, nothing anywhere around here will be inhabitable. So they were trying to keep the people off. That's what Russia was saying. What the West was saying is they're not allowing anybody outside the country, because this is one of the only ways you can eventually get out of the country, because you can cross back over here into Ukraine. What all this means, there's a lot of serious speculation that the Zaporizhzhia power plant is going to have an accident. I spent a lot of time talking about why yesterday. This used to be the Dnipro the Dnipro Reservoir, and it was used to cool the Zaporizhzhia power plant. A dam was blown down here. All this water has drained. The water that was used to cool the power plant has drained. There are temporary sources of water, but they are just that. They're temporary, and they are not being utilized right now. At the moment, the last report I got was there are 100 workers were ordered out today. They should be the remaining Russian contracted workers. All that's left are Ukrainian workers who have signed contracts with Rostom, the Russian electric company, that they basically have shut this down. They've shut the plant down. And the rumor is that it's going to blow anytime. I'm saying July 5th is when it blows. The reason is because even the Ukrainian, they ordered the Ukrainian people out by July 5th. They've ordered a permanent evacuation in a 16 kilometer circle, a permanent evacuation in a 16 kilometer circle around the plant itself. Supposedly there are trucks loaded with explosives left by the Russians on 4 of the 6 reactors, and the cooling pond has been mined, just as the dam was mined. Now, Russia is saying Ukraine is going to blow it up. Ukraine is saying Russia is going to blow it up. It sounds to me like it's going to get blown up. It's just a matter of who's going to get the blame. And who gets the blame is irrelevant, because it's not going to be like a nuclear explosion. It's going to be like a meltdown. What's that mean? We're going to get to that in just a couple of minutes. But this is a very dangerous situation. Now, why would Russia do that? Why would Russia blow that up and potentially contaminate some of their own soil? Putin needs a win. And blowing that up and saying Ukraine blew it up as a way to kill some people on Russian soil, Putin's okay with that as long as it gives him an excuse to do whatever else he needs to do. So that's why Lindsey Graham came out with the senator from Pennsylvania last Friday. They came out and said, we need to make this clear to everybody right now. If they do this, we consider it Article 5 of NATO, and that it is an attack on one of NATO's members because of the potential radiation spread. And Lindsey Graham also made it clear that it was not, it's either or. If the power plant blows, or if a nuclear rocket is launched, the United States will consider it an attack on us. We also have Friday night, we shipped over, I mentioned this last night briefly, we shipped over one of our nuclear sniffers. We only have 14 of them. And it wasn't shipped over just to sit there and look pretty or be part of an air show. It's been active today, and everything's normal. But as soon as it's not normal over there, we need to be wary that it could quickly get abnormal over here too. So I just want to point all that out. And if you've never seen this movie, The China Syndrome, Jack Lemmon, Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda looks really good in this movie. A very young Michael Douglas in this. And basically, this movie is about what happens when the Titanic was the unsinkable ship that sunk. Nuclear reactors are supposed to be the safest form of energy. What happens when there's a problem? We had our own problem here. It was called 3 Mile Island, and I just, as you can see on YouTube, I just brought up 3 Mile Island to see what would come up. 3 Mile Island documentary, nuclear meltdown, 3 Mile aftermath. Quote, we almost lost Detroit. Okay, let's just look at this for just a second here.
GoDaddy is a
Of
partner
course, it's going to have a commercial on it. We'll run through a few seconds of the commercial. Nothing wrong with commercials. Love commercials. This is going to be a reaction video.
A program we did back in April of 1982, in which we looked very closely at 3 Mile Island.
If it would have melted down, it would have probably have wiped out the entire eastern seaboard from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. At the time of the accident, there were 7 radiation monitoring devices placed around the plant. Only 2 of those were operational. The monitoring devices that were on the stacks of the containment building at the time of the accident had a top reading of 1,000 millirems. They were off scale for better than three days after the accident began.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to watch this whole thing. We may be watching this in the very near future. But I just wanted to show you that there are some resources here if you want to dig into what happened at 3 Mile Island. It wasn't a meltdown. Okay, it says meltdown 3 Mile Island. That's hype for a movie. But it was close. It was too close. Now, what really happens? We've seen movies. I just recommended one, China Syndrome, where it gets close. There's a series on Chernobyl where it's like a 7 or 8 part series that goes through everything that happened to cause the nuclear accident in Chernobyl, which is in the northern part of Ukraine, oddly enough. And with all the talk about what a meltdown is, I thought, why not? Let's listen to a nuclear person. Okay, this guy is he's a nuclear technical engineer. Okay, he's not a physicist. He works at nuclear plants and handles nuclear materials.
If that's true.
Oh, and I found this because he was reviewing the China Syndrome as to what is authentic and what is not. So we're going to listen to just a couple of minutes of this at the as our feature, if you will.
Then we came very close to the China Syndrome.
The China Syndrome?
If the core is exposed, the fuel heats beyond core heat tolerance in a matter of minutes. Nothing can stop it.
The fire has been called off, my friend.
Well, at least it wasn't saying it would cause a 3 megaton explosion. Okay, so he's talking about core exposure and then the China Syndrome. I never heard the term China Syndrome in my education. It's what we're talking about here is a meltdown, which is the worst case scenario for these kinds of reactors, water-based reactors. He's making it sound like as if the moment some number of fuel rods in the core, they're not immersed in water anymore, that they will instantly melt. This is not true. It will take some time for them to heat up and begin melting. Let's talk about defense in depth. So nuclear power plants are designed so there's multiple layers of redundancy for every possible situation. All right, so let's say the coolant all goes away. This can happen in what's called a loss of coolant accident. One of the coolant pipes from those earlier diagrams could rupture and release all the coolant. What happens then? Well, that's where we have the emergency core cooling system, and that was mentioned earlier with the high pressure coolant injection and low pressure coolant injection. And that system in and of itself also has several redundancies too. So let's assume that that fails and the core cannot be cooled. It will melt. You'll get your melted down fuel slag at the bottom of your reactor pressure vessel here. The reactor pressure vessel is a very robust structure. It is 6 to 12 inches thick, 15 to 30 centimeters, and it is made of solid steel. That has a lot of thermal capacity and resistance to melting. So the molten core can sit on the bottom of that reactor vessel for some amount of time before even melting through it. We have real world evidence for this in the 3 Mile Island accident of 1979, which, believe it or not, happened 13 days after this movie was released in theaters. In 3 Mile Island, long story short, about half of one of the cores melted down at 3 Mile Island and sat in the reactor vessel uncooled for about 6 hours and did not melt through the reactor vessel. So there's some real world example of how meltdown can affect these types of water reactors here. All right, so now let's say it has melted through the reactor vessel. It is now inside the containment building, which, as you may have seen before, is that dome over a reactor. This does not just extend into the air, it is underneath as well. It is a full encapsulation of the reactor. And this is very thick concrete, on the order of several feet. I'll put an exact figure below. A lot of concrete. This molten core will now spread out to some extent on the containment floor. As an aside, why does a thin layer of ice melt relatively quickly and an ice cube or a good solid chunk of ice take a long time to melt? It has to do with the ratio of surface area to volume. So some kind of ice cube has a small amount of surface area compared to volume. And what that means is there's not as many avenues for heat to escape. If you have concrete or asphalt covered in a thin layer of ice, there's a lot of surface area compared to volume. There's a lot of place for heat to escape. So when this molten reactor core hits the bottom of the containment, it will spread out to some extent, so it'll be able to better release heat. And it's also been mixed with the materials of the fuel assembly in the core. It's melted through the reactor pressure vessel, so some amount of steel from that has now mixed with the melted down fuel. And now it will melt and combine with this very thick containment building to dilute even more and spread out. So that's even more likely chance that it will all start cooling down, or that this will all take long enough for someone to come in and start cooling it down with water. So let's step through. We've had to assume that all the coolant disappears, the emergency core cooling system fails, it melts through the pressure vessel, and it melts through the containment building. It has to get through 4 different phases to leave the containment building. So this is all to say that this is going to take a very long time. It's not going to happen in a vacuum, and it's not unstoppable. This is a very, very, very worst case scenario accident.
Okay, there we go. From an expert. For those that don't know, the China syndrome is based, the term refers to a nuclear meltdown that would melt down through the reactor, through the building, through the ground, all the way through the earth, and create a basic giant hole all the way through the earth, which would really mess up our aerodynamics as far as rotation and revolving. So that was always the big fear with nuclear energy, was the China syndrome. And the guy here, he's talking about what happens with one reactor. There are 6 reactors in the Zaporizhzhia power plant. So just be aware, you know. That's all we try to do here, is make you aware of things. And there's a distinct possibility something could happen in the next few days. As he said, it takes time. So something could have already happened and that's why the evacuations are beginning, and we just aren't aware of it yet. I hope that's not the case. I hope nothing happens, of course. It's always my hope. But we know, if we know one thing, we know that in this world at this time, it's not how things should be. And we cannot react or base our hopes on how things should be. We have to base our reality and our reactions and our attitudes on how things are. And things are messed up in a lot of levels, on a lot of levels, in my opinion. So we're in dangerous times. All right. That's it as far as the script. It has been 7. I'll stay on here for a few more minutes just in case anybody has any questions. I know there have been a bunch of posts. I haven't seen them all. I'm working off of my phone. So I just see the post when it pops up. But I'll stay on here for a few more minutes just in case anybody has any questions for me or anything like that. Again, we're going to do this tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We're going to have a panel, and we're going to hear what other people think about the things we've been talking about tonight. And if you'd like to be part of that, you can email me. AmericanDoofus@gmail.com. If you'd like to help keep the program alive, you can Cash App, $American Doofus, AMERICANDUFUS, or you can hit that, you can hit the, Super Chat, and donate to the channel that way, and also to YouTube. So if nobody has anything, I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Cunning Stunt, thank you for posting that. And, Cunning and GA from CA are staples on this program. And I disappeared for months. I got home and all I wanted to do was stay home. All she wanted to do was go out. That is an oft found conundrum. I'll have the list of nuclear plants, etc. tomorrow night. Okay, Breeway. Yeah, Cunning and GA are going to be on the panel tomorrow night. I think Telly's going to join us. I'm not sure who else yet, but I hope you'll join us. And if you have questions, I'm going to try to be back in the studio tomorrow night for the panel, so that I'll be able to see chat 100%. But again, if you got anything for me, show face, cool. Peace and blessings to you as well, Toby and Keith, or Toby and Kelly, Toby Keith, Toby and Kelly. Was she ever able to travel with? I haven't shown my face because the way I've got the camera set up at the moment on the tripod, the anchor is over where the camera switch is. I'll move it here in a second and say goodbye to everybody. What am I doing on the 4th? Cunning asked. At the moment, I am going to be at the park with live streaming a concert and fireworks, but I'm not sure. TNT with Mike and Jazz says my channel. Okay. Just Joan, Jim Nogren. My ex worked for the DOD. He'd been on Janet flights. Janet flights. For those that don't know, there is an airline called Janet, and it flies from Las Vegas Airport to a place called Area 51. So, Yeah, and it's very nondescript. You wouldn't even know it was out there. Okay, TNT with Mike and Jazz. I'm not sure who that is, but not sure what they're saying, but they're getting deleted. So I trust my mods. Mods care about the channel, and I'm greatly appreciative that they do. But I don't have anything against anybody. I just put out information. So nobody has anything. Let me move the camera a little bit here to close it out. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Move things around. Actually, I'll just take it. Take it out. There we go. We're back. All right. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for being here and for hanging out, for clicking on. Always greatly appreciated. Just Joan, thank you. Thanks to the mods, as always, and thanks to you, whoever you may be out there. Peace, love, and sunshine. Thank you for being here. Cunning Stunt. My poor dog is stressed over the fire. Oh, my gosh. Oakley. Oakley has been dealing with fireworks like a champ. She hates them. She hates thunder. She hates the storms. But she's... and we've been dealing with all of it for the past 4 days, but she's been handling it, and good on her. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Doofus, for making us all a little smarter. You're welcome, Guy. I just show you stuff. I give people things to think about. I don't tell them what to think or how to think. That's on you. I just show you stuff. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Blessings be upon each and every one of you. Namaste. Shalom. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Live long and prosper. Blessings upon you. Positive vibrations. Much love. And we'll see you real soon. Thanks again.